If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NHL.
The Utah Mammoth lose in overtime again, this time in the second overtime period. They lose the puck right in front, right in that corner by their goal. It goes in front. Brett Howden scores, and that is it. They're beaten in double OT again. They trail 3-2. PK, giving up too many penalties, giving up too many goals, and again, they cannot protect the lead in the third period. Wash, rinse, repeat.
Sure, but they didn't have the lead, so they got the lead. There's something to be said for that. I don't know that there's
done that a couple times for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a big difference. Obviously, 2 game-winning goals in overtime the last couple games. It's not sitting well with me because then I come in even more tired and more grumpy the next day.
Right, we're all feeling it. Oh,
hey, do the overtime as much as you want on Friday night. I don't care.
And you're right about the start time. Could it start at 7:30 instead of 8:15 or 8:20? Save us 45 minutes at the end of the night. These things are going late.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's the best product, and it's at a time when a lot of people can't watch it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, that these games have been very dramatic, very exciting and thrilling. And, when it's starting at midnight, 1 o'clock back east, whatever it might be, ending, I should say, they're not probably not getting the bang for their buck. But I think that's sort of indicative of what happens in the first round on our side of the country. And as you weed through it, you don't have to wait for those because there's not another game and all that stuff. But for now, it is. And it's not like it's a flip of a coin because I feel like Las Vegas is just a little bit better. And that's how the series is reflected.
And I think that it also underlines the fact that these teams were in the middle of the league in the season, and now they're matched up. The series has been tied 1-1. The series is tied 2-2. The game was tied 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4. Yeah, they're evenly matched. This is who they are. There's not much separating them. They're in the middle of the league. And in the regular season, Vegas was a little better, and now in these playoff games, they've been a little better.
Yeah, I think.
But still time to turn it around. Got to win these last 2.
It's probably a long shot, but you don't look at it that way. You just simply look at winning Friday, and then you travel back down to Vegas if you're fortunate enough to be in that situation, and you see what happens.
Philly finished Pittsburgh off. The Penguins are out 1-0 in overtime. Philly wins the series in 6. Montreal leads Tampa 3-2 after a 3-2 win. And Edmonton and Anaheim waiting for the winner of this Vegas-Utah series. Anaheim will try to close it out in Game 6 at home tonight. Edmonton trying to force a 7th game back in Edmonton. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
Strus on the inbounds to Dennis Schroeder. What a performance tonight for Schroeder. Out of Germany. Schroeder, 3-ball. Got it! Oh, my! Dennis Schroeder, the shooter!
Cade will drive it. Cade stops and fires. Fills it up! Cade Cunningham with 31.3 seconds left. And he has just set a career playoff single-game scoring high with 45 points. The previous record held by the great Dave Bing with 44.
Left side of Jabari, low block left at Şengün, 1-on-1 against Hayes. Coming to help out left side Jabari for a contested 3! 6 in a row! Timeout Los Angeles! And that will give the Rockets a 13-point lead.
Rockets hold on and win 99-93. They beat the Lakers It's now 3-2. It was 3-0, but the Rockets with back-to-back wins. And how did the Lakers' big dog shoot the three, PK? How did that work for them? They got Austin Reeves back. They're still missing Doncic, but not good for LeBron and Austin.
Reeves were 4 of 20 and 2 of 8. Actually, 2 of 10 from 3. I mean, Kennard he's not that good. And he'd had some really good games, and he came back to earth. Marcus Smart is not in the league for his scoring. LeBron is not a three-point shooter. It's the way I look at, not to say that he's going to be the same, but we can pick at A.J. DeBonsa's lack of ability to consistently make the three. Well, LeBron has been that way the whole 27 years he's played in the league. Like, he's 0 for 6. He's 9 of 20, but he's 0 for 6 from 3. So do the math. What would that be?
9 of 14. Look at him go.
Yeah. Get to the line.
About 65%.
You still have the strength and all that, but for some reason, somebody, some nerd in some tech school says you got to shoot threes, and they go 7 of 27, 26%, and the Rockets make 14. So they double them up in the threes, and I think that's basically the difference.
Yeah, the Rockets did take a lot more threes. I mean, they took 40 of them, but 35% you can live with. The 26 is going to get you beat, and it did. So now there's a Game 6 back in Houston in that series.
Well, and Doncic said, I read that he went back to Europe or something for his treatment. I mean, the fact is, if he's not there, this team is not a threat to do anything serious.
True story. You heard Cade Cunningham, 45 points. The Pistons stay in contention here. They make it 3-2 now. They're still in a hole against Orlando, and they got to go back there for Game 6. But the 1 seed in danger of getting embarrassed at home and getting knocked out in 5, which would – and they still may go down here in the 6th or 7th game, but they fought back for 1 game and won it. Not a great shooting night for Donovan Mitchell, but enough. The Cavs beat the Raptors 125-120, so they're up 3-2.
Yeah, they were down, and Schroeder was watching the end of that game, and he was in most of all the time, and Mitchell was actually not playing as they were doing. I mean, Schroeder took over in the fourth quarter, and Murrell was out there, and then I think with about 3 minutes to go, they subbed Murrell out for Mitchell, but keep the hot hand, and at that point, Schroeder had it going on.
Got 3 series that are 3-2. Game 6 is tonight. A bunch of teams with a chance to close it out. The Knicks are in Atlanta trying to win the series. The Celtics are in Philly trying to win the series. And Minnesota is at home, obviously minus a couple of players, including their star. And they're trying to close out Denver up 3-2. So all those games coming up tonight. Steve Kerr, the Golden State Warriors met, no decision. So in a couple weeks, they'll talk about it again. What are they waiting on? Bum, bum, bum. Well, we'll see.
Oh, he can come back. They're not going to go anywhere. This is a story that's been played out over time many times. The star player who achieved the ultimate. Everybody wants him to retire in the uniform that he's made famous. And so you just have to play it out. And that's whether next year or the year after. Curry wants to keep playing. And you can't tell them no, but they're not going to be good enough next year. I don't care who's coaching them.
Isn't this a great example of what we were talking about with David Locke on Friday about Walker Kessler, and you can't afford to overpay people no matter how good they are. They have to be paid properly, and Curry's good, but is he $60 million worth of good?
Well, yeah,
really
but I mean, that's
$40 million player, and there's $20 million you need to rebuild your roster, and you can't go spend it on somebody because he's got it.
I know, but you do that as for a reflection of gratitude.
It's for what he's done his whole career.
Yeah,
right back
and then it's a storybook career, and he gets to go out as a Warrior. Kobe got to go out as a Laker, and
nobody else in the West has to worry about the Warriors winning playoffs.
Then you start to rebuild. The Nowitzki went out a Maverick, blah blah blah, and essentially the Jazz did that. Obviously with Stockton, he went out and alone, still had a little left in the tank. They had to go through that rebuild, and they bottomed out, losing to the Kings, I think, in the first round. And it just happens this way. They're no different than anybody else.
Nope. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
AJ DeBonsa revealed his new signature Nike logo as he preps for the NBA draft. Marketing, PK. Marketing opportunities. What's that? What's the individual logo going to look at? After Jumpman, everybody's got to have one, right?
Yeah, I don't care what the logo looks like, but I love what the bank account looks like.
Bank account is good and getting better.
Sure. I mean, this kid and his family are going to be loaded beyond what maybe they did imagine it. I don't know, but nevertheless, they're going to be loaded.
Iowa State, TJ Otzelberger, a 10-year contract extension. His salary goes up to $6 million. He took over a team that won just a couple of games. Now he's got a 124-53 record. They love where they are, and he gets interest from big programs sniffing around him. Rumors linking him to Indiana, rumors linking him to North Carolina, but he got a big old extension, a big old raise, so at least another year with him. Who knows? There's probably outs in it too, so never say never, I guess. But 10 years and the salary bumps to $6 million.
Sure, and I'm hoping with that money he can buy polo shirts that are a little bit bigger.
Get out of that medium.
Yeah, I get it, man. You got the biceps and the triceps. We've seen it. Good for you, man. I'm just doing push-ups on the side. And away you go there. And they've had a really good program for a number of years since he's been there. Got a 70% winning percentage, I think it was, or is.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
Let's not get it twisted. We're trying to win right now, and we've got decisions for the short and the long term. And sometimes leadership can be lonely. I'm not going to pretend to make perfect decisions, but everything that we do is what we believe is in the best intent for the collective with all of our values and principles at hand. And that was what this decision led into. And is it right? We felt like it was right for us, but there was a lot of other guys that made it a difficult decision for us without a doubt.
That's Sean McVay. Basically answering the question, you got an elite quarterback. He's probably going to the Hall of Fame. He's only got a year or two left. Why draft for the future? Why not draft somebody who makes you better right now? Because you were very close to winning another Super Bowl last year. And this isn't going to move the needle forward in the next year or two. Maybe it will down the line, get 3, 4, 5 years out. So there's his answer. Why not go for it right now when they're so close, PK?
I don't know. I was trying to follow him, man. He's talking so dang fast.
Yeah. Sounded kind of like he's trying to convince himself.
That one's not even sped up either.
Yuck, working your magic.
Well, I don't have any problem with it. The franchise needs to look to the future when you got a quarterback who's over 35 and you think you can get somebody who might be there for you down the line. What's so wrong with that? I mean, it's just like you're going to take one player in that pick where they took the kid from Alabama, and whoever you would have taken would have just changed the course of your franchise and just elevated it to where you are the dominant team. The Patriots at their best under Tom Brady, or whoever it might be. The Steelers adding another Super Bowl back in the 70s, or the Cowboys in the 90s. I just there was really. If you would have, whoever would you have taken, he would have made that big of a difference. I'm not sure I buy that. And you have an opportunity. I don't know. Who knows if the kid's going to pan out? So you go in that direction, and you got somebody, and at least there's a plan there. And he learns for a couple years, or whatever it might be. Really, I mean, if they would have taken fill in the blank player, that was going to be such a difference maker. They're already a good team.
They are already a good team. Could have gotten somebody who helped them be better this year. Or maybe this is going to look down the line and think that was genius by the Rams because now they're going to hand off the quarterback position the way the Packers have handed off a couple times. Ever bottoming out and going on some 5-year search, starting 5 guys in 5 years, looking for the next starter. Maybe they get to avoid that.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Former BYU running back, Tyler Algier, went to Arizona. Now the shakeout, playing time and all that. In the post-draft analysis, he's been labeled the NFL draft loser because it looked like he could be the feature back in Arizona, but they draft Jeremiah Love 3rd overall, so he probably drops down the depth chart again. And Deshaun Watson reported taking the lead in the Browns QB race with Shadur Sanders 2nd. as they set their depth chart. So we move from the draft to depth charts now, PK.
Well, I think if Deshaun Watson is healthy, he's the guy.
That is where that seems headed. Texans gave Pro Bowl linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair a 3-year extension worth $54 million. So he's the guy. $54 million. Look out. And the NFL distributing crew assignments to the regular referees this week amid indications of continued progress towards a deal on a new collective bargaining agreement with the NFL Referees Association. So we may not have replacement refs. See how that goes. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
It's interesting next year, the opportunity for the 1 seed to pick its path, the location of its quarterfinal bowl and the location of its semifinal bowl, and then the 2 seed to have a quarterfinal bowl option and obviously placed in the semifinal bowls.
There's Greg Sankey. They're working on what the playoff format looks like. Now the top teams get to pick their bowls, PK. So maybe you want less travel for your fans. Maybe somebody in the Big Ten wants to go to the Rose Bowl because of the tradition all these years, and that would satisfy an alumni base, but they're going to get to choose. So,
well, you can pick your bowls, but you can't pick your friends' bowls.
Yeah. With these conferences in many cases being so big, you can see why a team, just to sign it could be rough because it could be basically a home game for one team and then a cross-country game for somebody else in the same conference. It's not as nice and neat as it used to be.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that stuff. Play the games.
Nick Saban backs the school, giving Kalen DeBoer a contract extension. It's going to pay him $12.5 million, saying he understood why they're doing it. But DeBoer rumored to be linked to that Michigan job before Kyle Whittingham took it. So,
I got a Saban story that I saw yesterday. Morgan Wallen is a big-time country artist, right? He sells out stadiums multiple nights at these places, right? And what he always does, as he walks out from these stadiums, which are usually football stadiums, he has somebody local or locals with him, and he'll usually come out in the jersey of whatever that particular venue is, who the home team is, right? So the other day, he's over there at Alabama, right? And he come out walking with him is Nick Saban. And so Nick Saban was on Feinbaum. I saw this on Twitter, so I saved it. And Feinbaum asked him about it, walking out with Morgan Wallen. And he says, and it's at the Alabama Stadium, he says, that's the first time I've ever walked down that tunnel, and there was no consequence in terms of winning and losing a game. So that was fun. And I really enjoyed having the time backstage with those guys, which was the locker room. That was our locker room. Great band, great group of guys. A lot of them were former athletes, and this is me now. I'll pick up the quote here in a second. But Wallen actually played high school baseball and just donated a couple million or something to the high school team for whatever. I think they won a state title when he was a junior, right? So he's a former baseball player. So back to Saban. A lot of them were former athletes. It was a lot of fun. They actually got in a big huddle, and I gave them a halftime ass chewing, told them that they needed to get in gear.
That'd be awesome, get cussed out by Nick Saban, man. You bleepers, get out there and bleep and entertain people. Let it rip. Don't want you holding back.
Yeah.
That's funny. That had to be pretty cool for them in the Alabama locker room with Nick Saban letting him have it.
Yeah.
All right, DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Montgomery lines into center, drops down. Vargas on his way home. Ball game over. 3-2 and 10.
There goes Ozzie. 1-2 pitch. Swung on, hit well. Deep right field to the wall. And it's gone! Rolling thunder out of the ballpark. And the Braves win it. As Matt Olson just swung the hammer at that Jansen pitch, and he drills it out of the ballpark. Braves win!
The Braves walk it off. The Braves have the best record in all of baseball. They're red hot. They can do no wrong right now. They get the win over Detroit 4-3. Another team that's hot, Seattle, back to 500. They have won 6 of their last 7 games. They beat Minnesota 5-3. They're 500, which in that division puts them just a game out of first place. So, a couple teams rolling right now, PK.
You see the way the Dodger game ended yesterday?
I did not.
Oh, so they're down.
Oh, it did. Yeah. The Bizarro double play.
Yes.
An unassisted double play.
I'm watching the game. They're doing the cut-in, right?
Yeah.
And they're bouncing back and forth between the Padre Cub game and the Marlin Dodger game because they're both in the afternoon, right? And so they don't have them on, but they're cutting in on the network, on the baseball network, and they load the bases. And who was it? Freeman comes up, and I think they walk Ohtani to load the bases. There's guys on second and third with one out, and so he hits a grounder to second, kind of where the second baseman Edwards is moving over towards first, and Ohtani doesn't run, but then backs up, and then he backs up towards first base, and he makes the tag on Ohtani, and then does a long stretch, basically, a long stride to step on the bag at first. And that ended. Then they reviewed it, and he got Freeman in time. So that was one of the more bizarre double plays you'll ever see in that situation. It's just weird.
And the tying run is racing home from third, so he's got to get it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, what did I just see there? Wasn't sure. You had to look at it, and they reviewed it, and sure enough, got him in time, and the game was over.
First time Miami's won a series in L.A. since 2018, but they take that series. And the Angels lose to the White Sox 3-2. That is 6 losses in a row for the Angels, and it seems like it's wash, rinse, repeat with them. That was a nice little start, but now we're 30-whatever games in, and they're 8 games under 500 and seem to be headed nowhere again. Even in a division that's pretty forgiving, it looks like Mike Trout, this is just the die has been cast. There doesn't seem to be a way to change the script.
Or the cast has died, one or the other.
No. See what you did there. That was clever.
Thank you.
You're
welcome.
The Bees lose to Sacramento 17-7. Nice football score right there. Game 3 tonight, 6:35. Listen on The Zone. Tony Parks on the call on 1280 The Zone. DJ and PK.
#golf.
PGA Tour's in Miami this week for the Cadillac Classic at Trump National Doral. No locals in the field, so you don't have any rooting interest from that point. The big news is Live Golf is losing the financial backing from Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund after this season. They're seeking alternative funding. Players are looking for a path back to the PGA, and the PGA is trying to play it cool. How many of these guys will they take back? What do you think, PK? 2, 3?
Well, Rahm and DeChambeau are the biggest names.
Those two.
There's some other guys out there that
Cameron
I'm aware
Smith
of.
Maybe next was the other guy I was thinking.
Joaquin Neiman. I mean, there's players on that thing. Oosthuizen. So this I never really got into it, and I gave it a shot, but it was just like watching exhibition golf. Like, okay, you're playing and you're really good. I get it, but what are you playing for? What's the point?
Right.
I couldn't come up with a point. I correlated it to like the last week of spring training, where the guys don't get one bat and they're out at bat. As you get in the first week. The season starts next week, so you're playing and you're trying to do well, but it still doesn't count. And that's what I have with the Live. They're playing. I've watched it. Been on Saturday nights. I've watched it. Because, what the heck, but they're not really playing for anything that matters.
You think Phil really has a crisis in his personal life, or did he get a heads up a couple weeks earlier and just backed away and let it crash?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe the die was off.
I mean, he took shots at them, and so he's kind of getting whipped here a little bit. I mean, his legend on the PGA Tour is secured. It's not like he was going to add to it. I'm biased. I'm a Phil guy. So if he goes away and is never heard from again, he'll still be a Hall of Fame golfer with multiple majors, and who wouldn't have taken that?
Yep. Utah finished 6th in the Big 12 Men's Golf Championship. BYU 7th. Kia Akina, BYU's freshman, finished 2nd. Sergio Jimenez from Utah finished 3rd. So a couple of local golfers, we'll see. They're pretty good in college. We'll see where they go later on in their careers, PK, but a couple names to remember.
Well, I think Akina is destined for the PGA Tour. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. Yeah. He'll have the back.
He's already made a cut.
Yeah, and he's played in multiples. And he missed the first Black Desert by a stroke, if I remember.
Yep.
So, yeah, He's been out there. He's been like our Utah version of Tiger Woods in terms of he's a kid I heard about a long time ago, even though he's only a freshman several years ago, and he just has to play his way and go by, kind of like Bryce Harper that I'd heard about him as a 12-year-old. It's like, okay, he's got to get to 13, he's got to get to 15, blah, 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 and then when the time comes, he'll go to the big leagues, and that's what happens. That's what I'm expecting of this young man, too.
What is Trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, Greg Wyshynski, senior NHL writer for ESPN. We will talk Stanley Cup playoffs and Game 6 with him. And Chris Level, Texas Tech analyst and sideline reporter, host of Locked On Texas Tech, will join us at 9 o'clock as the Red Raiders try to figure out how they're going to negotiate this upcoming season. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The playoffs are back in Utah. In only their second year in Salt Lake City, the Utah Mammoth are in the NHL playoffs, and your home of every second of every moment of Utah Mammoth hockey is right here. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, as the Mammoth make their run to a Stanley Cup. Keep it right here on the Zone for the best coverage of Mammoth hockey. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Join Scotty G and the coach tomorrow, 10 to 2. They're going to be at Next Gen Motors grand opening at their new location at 590 North State Street in Linden. DJ and PK, it is time for the question of the day. Bring your hot takes. PK, Yahoo reports the Big 12 has a private equity deal with Redbird Capital. Schools can opt in for capital credit line for $30 million each. Should they do it? Bum, bum, bum. Scott, well, we know BYU's not going to be involved. They got their $30 million if they need it. There's been a speculation that maybe as many as a half dozen schools would do this. Devin says absolutely not. What a total waste.
Why?
He does not explain why.
What's the downside?
Well, it has been explained that this isn't a typical private equity deal. It seems more like this is an investment because they never get to own any of the schools or any of the conference. So it's not like that Redbird Capital is bought in. It's some type of we'll front you the money. It's a joint investment, and there's a payback. So it's kind of like a loan, except they're supposed to help you make money.
The rates are under 10% is what they're saying on the return.
Yeah. Now, that still seemed high to me.
Oh, it is high, yes.
But it could be higher, to your point, Yak, right? It could be higher.
Well, think about it as a credit card. It's like essentially you're getting a line of credit, 10% rate on it, and obviously, to your point, DJ, you're trying to obviously make money together, but this is ultimately having to be paid back by the school or the conference.
Brady, never get involved with private equity groups. Chowder, honestly, no. NIL's ruined college sports, but I get schools like the U can't compete with the Michigans of the world.
I don't think NIL has ruined college sports.
Do you think that schools like the U can compete with the Michigans of the world?
Could they ever compete with the Michigans of the world?
I believe the answer to that is in the short run, yes, but on the highest stage, no.
They may beat them time or two if they're down.
And they're 3-1 against them in the 4 times they played them, which have all been in the last 25 years.
Yeah,
so
they did in
they can
football.
do that. But when you're the Pac-12 champ and you run into the Big Ten champ or runner-up at the highest level, it hasn't gone well.
Yeah, I think that you can compete with them when they screw up.
Yes, if they're not at their best, if they're playing their B-plus game, you can beat them. But with all their money and resources and fame, fortune, and all the branding and all the power of all that, when they're playing their A game, you're in trouble.
Yeah, did anyone turn down Kyle Whittingham? From Utah or BYU?
No, not that we know of. Everybody went.
And they all got substantial raises.
Yeah, and see, that's where the $30 million, you get the line of credit, but what are you going to use it for that you're going to make the kind of money to pay it back that's going to move you ahead and close the gap? Because a lot of people look at it as paying NIL, and I just don't see how that's going to close the gap. I mean, you pay it, you get the players. They're here for maybe just 1 year. I mean, certainly the basketball players can go in a year, but even the football players, if you're getting a transfer, they might be gone in a year or two, whatever.
Well,
not very long.
Sure, it depends on
their eligibility,
if they want to stay and their eligibility.
Right. So that's where if you're doing something like we hear the U is going to do at the Huntsman Center, whether you build a new one or you rebuild a facility, and there's some way where you could generate a lot of cash, maybe that makes more sense than going out and getting bonds and all that. I'm getting over my skis here. But that, to me, at least it makes sense on the surface. I don't know enough. Maybe if you dove into it, it wouldn't make much sense. But that kind of stuff, I kind of see the logic there. If you've got to do something to your facility that's going to generate a lot more money, I mean, Kansas just redid their football stadium. That kind of thing can generate a lot of cash. If you need the $30 million to get one of those projects across the finish line, all right, maybe that's a good idea. That to use it for NIL, man, on the surface, I'd have to be convinced.
Well, I don't think you're competing with those extreme elite level programs. I think you're competing with teams in your conference.
I think, yes, that, and I think that also you're trying to prep your place so that when whatever scramble happens in the early 2030s, with all the TV deals up and the college basketball, NCAA basketball tournament deal is coming up, and almost everybody, the Big Ten, except the Big Ten, is up. They're up in the middle of the next decade. You need to be in as good a place as possible to get whatever the best result is possible for your school.
Well, and to your point, DJ, I don't know if you saw this in this story. This Redbird Capital Group owns Paramount Global, which is the parent company of CBS and soon-to-be TNT Sports.
So are they about to bet on sports and get in a big way? And if you work with them, they'll take care of you in 5 years.
In what way?
Include them. Push them across the finish line.
Include them in what?
More money in
whatever this new.
But you're still not going to be able to compete. Utah can get in the Big Ten all it wants. Purdue is in the Big Ten. Rutgers is in the Big Ten. I can go down the list of 7-8 schools that are in the Big Ten and getting the same amount of money for the TV deals as everybody else, but they're not competing. And what makes Utah think all of a sudden it's going to be able to compete at that level? It can be a really good program, but is it ever going to compete nose to nose, head to head with Ohio State and Oregon year after year after year?
The easy answer is no, and I would normally say no, but the only thing that gives me pause right now is that's what I would have said about Indiana, and look at the last 2 years. So I think the boosters who run the boosters who support the program, the presidents who run the schools are thinking, get in, and then we'll try to figure it out. And obviously Indiana did these last couple of years. Now the odds are you're way more likely to end up like Rutgers and Maryland and
I don't think those are the
list.
odds. I disagree on that. You can have a really solid program, but are you going to be the last team standing?
Seems unlikely. Seems very unlikely.
Yeah.
But you want to get in that group and then figure it out once you're in that group.
It's like Majura said after they went to the final, we didn't move any closer to Los Angeles.
Yeah, and he was right. That was the high watermark. It's been all downhill from there.
So they're in a good spot. Both these programs are good. Okay, that's pretty good. And I'm not downgrading them whatsoever. I'm just thinking, if you're thinking cash is all of a sudden going to make you Ohio State, I don't see it.
No. It's more, do you need the cash to do something specific that's going to make you better? And if you're rebuilding something that generates money every year, like a football stadium or a basketball arena, I get it. After that, I'm having a hard time seeing it. But maybe I just need it explained to me because, again, getting out into this area, a little over my skis, not what I do.
You can build the fanciest stadium and the fanciest arena that you want. And what do you have? You have a fancy stadium and a fancy arena. I think the Utes in the 90s did awfully well in the Huntsman Center. And now I'm going to give them a new arena or I'm going to modernize it. And, yeah, it can give you more money and go ahead and do that. But that's all it does. It's like it's a power play in hockey. All right. You've got a man advantage. But if you don't score, did you have any advantage?
Or if you give up the game-winning goal shorthanded, how was it? Hey-oh. We'll get to that. It's
and they should try to get on the other side. And if it's the formation of Big 12, Big 10, I should say, and SEC and whatever they want to call it, you want to be on the inside. Okay, yeah. I think you have a good shot to be on the inside if you did nothing. Both of your programs. You play big-time football. Place is packed. You've had some really good wins and so forth. And I don't see where that's going to change. And that's fine. Strive to be the best you can be. That zero problem. Utah built a nice baseball stadium. I was there last weekend. It rocked. I thought it was just gorgeous. And it had a thing where you could take your dog. And we took our dog and out on the berm there. And I told the guys at Utah, Ryan, the guys in charge of baseball, I said, hey, I want to come by and I want to check out your facility because I hadn't been there yet. And it was my intent to get up there this season. And so I went up there in the press box and the luxury suites they have down the third base line. It's awesome. All right, I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and they're going to play. They've actually been playing high school games there. Hopefully they get an opportunity to play high school playoff games and all that. I think the kids would really enjoy it. Beautiful stadium. They're doing what they need to do, right? And now, hopefully for them, they can get better players and have a really good baseball program. It's hard in a cold weather spot. We understand that, but it's been done. But it's still hard. We're still out in the middle of nowhere. We don't produce a lot of MLB players that come through the high school ranks in the state. It's all, but they've got a beautiful facility, man. I can't say enough about it. I was thoroughly impressed. So they're doing all they can, and they deserve, or speaking specifically of Utah, in my mind, they absolutely deserve to be in if it comes down to some type of cut line. They deserve to be on the inside of the cut line. And go ahead and do it and get as much money, be as good as you can. I just don't see them being the elite of the elite consistently.
I'd agree with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There isn't. If you could get in the Big Ten and go 9-3 and finish sixth, it'd still be a good year. You'd be frustrated with the 5 teams in front of you. But if you were 9-3 overall and 6-3 in conference, you'd get to play a bunch of the big boys. People would be super excited.
Right. And they'll win some of those games. And they'll have some times where things will work. It's just that, you have to look at the other programs that got these enormous advantages. And as Ryan Day said, if you're not a first rounder, we're not interested in recruiting you. So I don't know how much it will change. I think they get in, and hopefully they do get in, and hopefully BYU gets in too. And they're still going to have to go about getting the so-called diamond in the rough to an extent. Not always. They can get guys, but you have to outfit everywhere. Ohio State's outfitting 5 stars all over the place.
Yes. The diamond in the rough is relative.
And that's great. And that's how you've done that extremely successful. And I have no reason to think that you won't. They're in a good spot. They play good football. People are excited about it. I've been to so many games over the years. It's a great program. I'd be content with that. Basketball needs to get it going. Hopefully they can. BYU, same thing. They got basketball going to an extent. This Bruce Branch, so you look on mock drafts in 27, and he's tweeting out, it's good to be home. Who would have thought Bruce Branch? I don't even know where he's from, but now Provo's home, at least for the next 10 months. Yeah. Okay, great, good. And they packed the place, and these are good times, man. For Utah football, basketball, not so much, and for BYU, both sports. These are good times. And I think that, be happy where you're at. But that doesn't mean you don't strive to continually be better. You should. But let's not go crazy and all of a sudden expect that you're going to be on that level.
DJ and PK, when we come back, a lot of you reacting to the Mammoth. Another overtime loss. We will get to that next. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Stay with us.
Turn it up. Let's go. It's a new era for sports radio in Utah. This is the all-new KSL Sports Zone. As always, DJ and PK kick off your mornings from 6 to 10. Then introducing the newest addition to the KSL Sports Zone. The coach, Tim Lacombe, joins Scotty G every day from 10 to 2. And as you wrap up your day, Jake Scott and Ben Anderson are there with the best sports talk in Utah from 2 to 6. Live and local, all day, every day. Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is live, on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good night's sleep.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The Utah Mammoth get beat. Your reaction to another overtime loss, and can this series get any more dramatic? Ricky, I can't believe it. What a game.
Yeah.
Game 6 Friday. Winner go make ice cubes.
Actually, winner go golf.
Yeah, there it is. Win or go golf.
Yeah, I mean, what the Bear just said. The only thing is that the power play just isn't working the way it needs to. You know, they're way behind league average there, and obviously
14.
they've allowed a couple of goals that really stand out when they have the advantage, and that's like going 5 for 20 from the free throw line or something. You know, it's just you're not expected to do that. And if it happens, it's a huge boost for the other team. But other than that, and I don't claim to be a hockey expert by any stretch, but I do have some experience covering it way back when. And so this is what I'm seeing. And it's hard to just come down on these guys for so many of them, not all of them, but some of them being in the spot for the first time and all. You know, if you're getting beat 5-0, that's another story. But that's not happening, obviously. And, you know, I was looking last night as they score, and then, boom, the Golden Knights come back and tie it up. And then they score, and then, boom, the Golden Knights come back and tie it up. And then in the second instance, actually take the lead. If there could have been a way to maybe build a little separation, put a little more heat on the Golden Knights. But, you know, you're up by 1 goal, and you're in the second period. Well, that's like being down by 1 run in the third inning. You know?
Yeah,
it's not that big of a deal.
Okay, if you want to go with the baseball analogies, in baseball they always say whenever you have have one of those momentum-changing innings, it's important you go put up a 0 in the next half inning, right? Don't let them bounce right back.
Or you come back and you score in your inning.
And in the second period, when they go up 2-1 and there's like 5 minutes left in the period, you're thinking, all right, ask him to win the game 2-1. There's a long way to go and a lot's going to happen. But at least protect that thing to the locker room. And not only give up 1, they gave up 2.
They did.
Now, the good thing is this team can take a punch because they came back and scored 2 and retook the lead. But I think that the point that really needs to be underlined is the power play. They've given up a couple of shorthanded goals in this series.
Exactly.
And they're 1 for 14 on the power play.
Yeah, I know.
They're getting outscored when they have a man advantage.
They have been.
I mean, that doesn't – you don't need deep knowledge of the sport to realize that is a major problem.
It is. I think that's the difference.
I got a stat for you guys.
Hit it.
From OptaStats, in NHL history, there have been 29 instances of a team trailing in the third period each of the first 5 games of the series. Of those 29 teams, 28 were behind in the series or had already lost the series after 5 games. The lone exception, the Vegas Golden Knights this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just think they're just a little bit better. and across the board, they have a little more experience. They've got NHL Stanley Cup winners. They've got Olympic gold medalists, and they've got it on the bench too. And so this is a process. It seems like this is a necessary go through. Be furious about it, and then come back next year and just take that and like, okay, now we got this under our belt. Now we're ready to make the next move. And right now, you're going through it's a difficult learning experience, but you can argue it's a necessary experience here. And the arrow in direction that it's pointing, irregardless of what happens tomorrow, doesn't change at all. So you have to you go the micro and the macro at the same time, right? And what is the one in the short term? Is it the micro?
Yes.
Yeah, right. And so this is a hard lesson, but in the macro, has anything changed? Has the outlook, has the optimism, has any of that been altered whatsoever? I don't see it based on what they tell us on these guys that they got coming up.
It's what Bill Armstrong has said since we spoke to him the first time. It's a process. It's going to play out over a number of years. And you don't really want that. You want what the Golden Knights had because Vegas got to go to the Stanley Cup final the first year. Although they did lose it, they did eventually win a Stanley Cup a few years later.
Yeah.
So I guess in the short run, then, the thing is have these guys have as many experience as possible and assume that somehow that's going to pay off in the long run. All right, well, now you're playing an elimination game for the first time. So try to figure out how to win that. All that'll get you is another elimination game on Sunday in Game 7. Okay, well, then you'll have your first experience in a Game 7 because those are supposed to be the most chaotic thing in the entire NHL universe.
Well, I would say in the entire universe. The
entire universe,
yes.
The most chaotic thing.
You want chaotic? Yeah.
Game 7 versus an Ironman triathlon. What is more
It's
chaotic?
like you and all the paychecks are flowing in. What do I do with all this money?
Oh, if only. That'd be awesome.
It's a chaotic situation.
Chaotic.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what they got going. And right now, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is the focus on Friday. And who's to say they can't win that? That's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Well, I guess the other thing that's happening is the whole time Bill Armstrong and his staff have their eye on it, like where, they're much better, but they need to get even better than this. Where are the holes? Where do they need to improve? And big games, pressure games help reveal that kind of stuff. I mean, no one game is going to decide that, but this is one more chance to make your mark. All the players know, everybody around the league is watching. What's the market for you? Whether you're trying to stay in the league or whether you're trying to get some big money long-term deal. And Bill's sitting there thinking about trade. So every one of these games reveals a little more something to him, you suppose.
He's got his eye on the organization.
There it is. We end with a rock-solid organization. All right, DJ and PK, we'll take a break. When we come back, more on the NHL playoffs, Game 6 Friday night. We'll talk with Greg Wyshynski, senior NHL writer for ESPN. And coming up at 9 o'clock, Chris Level, Texas Tech analyst and sideline reporter, host of Locked On Texas Tech. Stay with us.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.